Hi everyone, welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today we're going to take a look at the Marvel Legends Mysterio from the Lizard Build-A-Figure wave. And if you want to get this figure yourself or the rest of the wave, go ahead and check out Big Bad Toy Store, there's a link in the description below. In this review we're going to be comparing it to this guy, the quite old now Toy Biz version of Mysterio. So as far as just a quick look at the packaging goes, as you can see the figure, the Build-A-Figure piece, and then also accessories fills up the package very nicely. Love it when you see a nice full package. It makes you feel like you're getting what you pay for. Great picture on the side there. We get a bio and a picture of everything else in the wave on the back. Next up's going to be Gwenpool and Prowler, and then after that all there is just the Spider one right there. And then we're going to move on to the Build-A-Figure. So let's go ahead and get this thing out of the package and take a closer look. And here's Mysterio out of the packaging and stood next to the Toy Biz Mysterio that you can see there in the back. And as you can see, this new one has some awesome translucent accessories, so let's go ahead and start with those. So as you can see, we have two different versions. So we have one suited for the right leg, one suited for the left leg, which I guess you could put on either or if you really wanted to. They are kind of flexible. So although together this is the way that they should be, because obviously this would get interrupted by that side, this one could probably sit there and that wouldn't be in too much of the other leg's way. But this is obviously the intended orientation. So this one has like a kind of tentacle on it, which is also on the head, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. And then over here, you've just got this kind of swirly, smoky design that you also get on this side as well. It's a really nice translucent green. And the old Toy Biz figure actually had something of a similar effect. I haven't got it with me here right now, but I do actually own it. So if I do a proper review of this guy, I will definitely show that in that one. It was like a kind of... It was like a grey smoke base that you could put the figure on. It actually had some wheels so it could roll. So you could essentially have him roll into action. And then it actually had two firing missiles that came out of it as well. So it had more of a play feature. This is definitely more of a kind of collector-friendly feature. It looks much better than him stood on what that thing was, and it also means that you can still utilize the foot articulation and everything. Next up, the head on this guy. As you can see, you've got like a translucent dome. You got the fishbowl over the head there, and the cape is just pegged into the back there, as you can see, and it holds it upright over the shoulders, so you still get all your arm articulation because there's plenty of room in there, which is fantastic. But if we go ahead and unpeg it and just pull it straight off the top, you can see we have a clear... I'll just keep the cape behind it actually because you'll see it a bit better, but we have a clear skull with a tentacle coming out of its mouth and wrapping itself around the head, but then we also have a tentacle coming out of the right eye. Now, there are some versions like this which are clear, translucent plastic, and there's some versions that have green translucent plastic. Now, it's not as a dark green as what this is. It's maybe more like this, but translucent. So it's just got an ever so faint green in it. Now, I don't know which one is more rare, but there's people everywhere that have both versions. So I don't know exactly if it was an intentional thing. Maybe it was a mistake and they ran out of the coloring, and so then the white ones were actually like a mistake. Or maybe it was meant to be a running change and they're actually both available in every country and you just get whatever you can find on the shelf. But obviously if you're ordering online, it's going to be harder for you to pick what you want. But if you're in store, you might be able to find both versions and then pick up what version you want, or pick up both if you want both. But obviously the head inside here, I'll do it now before we get to the rest of the articulation. The head is fully articulated, so it's on the ball joint, can look left and right and up and down there as well, which is fantastic. And obviously, however you want him looking, you can pose him like that, and then go ahead and fit the cape back over the top. And then once you're all pegged back in, he'll look fantastic, and there's more than enough room inside that dome so that you can obviously pose the head any way that you want. But I really do like the shape of the dome and everything, but I do kind of wish that I had the green one. Now, if we come over to the Toy Biz version, you can see the dome is much bigger, and it's actually less fishbowl and just more of a kind of cylindrical shape right there. Now, this actually has silver paint covering the whole dome, except for the very front bit there. You can see my lights reflecting that kind of look like eyes. So there's actually a little light bulb in here, which you can see just there. And when you press this, this actually has batteries. There's a battery compartment right inside the figure there. And they have run out, but this does work. I just need to replace the batteries, that's all. Every time you push this, there's actually 3 faces inside. I don't know if you can see, but that's like a kind of monster face. And as you bring it round, we got like a human face there. As we bring it around, we have like a weird alien thing with veins on its forehead. And as you flick through them, every time you press this in, the light bulb just has a quick flash. So that's another play feature that obviously this one does not have. But with this, you can't articulate the heads in any way, and you can't take this dome off unless you break it and pull the glue off and stuff. But it's not designed for that to be removed. And it looks fantastic. I really do love this dome design over this one. This is a very classic looking design, but then at the same time, this just looks so more menacing and evil, especially with like the monster face in there. With this, I can barely see the skull, so it's not really all that visible. Doesn't make as much of an impact to me. So overall, I like the dome and the effect and everything on this one. With a flash of light and changing heads, that's epic. Obviously, you do have this sticking out the back, but I honestly don't mind that. I also like the colour scheme of this figure more. Obviously, you've got the yellow and the gold. You've got the gold up here and the gold on here too. Golden boots. And then obviously you have the wash on the whole thing, even the cape as well. Over on this guy, obviously they are, designed the same. They have very similar design elements. I like the overall suit design of the squares being bigger on the new one. We have the green boots and green gloves, which I really do like, but honestly I do prefer the older Toy Biz version with the gold boots and the yellow gloves, but it's just whatever. I don't hate this one. It looks fantastic. The cape over here does look amazing, and has a bit of a wash on it. At least I think it does anyway. It has an amazing design on the inside that you can even see on camera very clearly, which is the same design that's on the gauntlets right there. It looks phenomenal. There is some shiny purple paint on these sections right here, the clasps, which is different to the cape right there. I just think that a kind of bronzy gold would have looked a bit better, but overall, it's a really, really nice upgrade to this figure, and that is also shown in the articulation. And obviously removing the cape means that you could make a custom and you could make a Mysterio out of any figure that you have, because you could put this on anyone, which is pretty cool. Now the shoulders, they're going to be basically the same. The arms come out to the side and rotate all the way around. Bicep, and then you got your double jointed elbow. Now this one does not actually have the rotation there at the gauntlet, but the Toy Biz version does, and then both of the hands can rotate and hinge in and out, but the Toy Biz version actually has some articulated hands there as well, which I think is pretty sweet. On this version, we just get 2 kind of open star hands, but they're not articulated in any other way. However, we do have an ab crunch on this figure, and then a waist swivel. Whereas over here, because of the battery pack segment, we only have the swivel. The legs can come out to the side and move forward and back. Rotation at the upper part of the thigh. Double jointed knees. There's a rotation at the boot cut there. The feet can move all the way up and all the way down. A massive ankle pivot and a toe hinge. That's all the same with this figure. Legs move out to the side, forward and back, rotation, double joint, boot hinge. Feet up and down, not quite as much. You don't get any toe hinge right there, but you do get the awesome ankle pivot. So they're both extremely similar with articulation, but this guy does win out ever so slightly. However, this figure over here has more play features, and I think that the color scheme is quite a lot better in my opinion. You get more of a wash, you get more variety with the yellow. If you already own this guy, I honestly don't think there's much of a point in owning this guy unless you just love Mysterio, and obviously you're gonna want more Mysterios. That he doesn't come around very often. But also, if you want the Lizard Build-A-Figure, or if you're just obviously a completionist and you want a ton of Marvel Legends, I'd say definitely go ahead and get this. If you haven't got this guy and you have no intention of getting it, then this is an absolutely amazing Mysterio figure. But because I already had this one, and also just because I really do love those yellow gauntlets quite a lot more, I definitely think that this still wins out. But unless you're willing to go ahead and hunt this guy down, or, go on eBay or something like that, then obviously I definitely do recommend this figure, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's all new parts, I'm guessing, except for the feet down there, which, by the way, look at that marbling on that green. It looks epic. It's an absolutely amazing figure, and I definitely do recommend that you go ahead and pick it up. But even if you do own this, I'd say if you can find it, and if you like Mysterio, pick this guy up too, because he's just an absolute gem in the collection. So, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to check out more videos from my collection, then go ahead and check out what's on the screen right now, and check out my social media. The links are in the description below. For more Marvel Legends reviews, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.